Hello, Crossroads Church, and anyone else who may be listening to this. My name is Keegan, coming to you with the daily devotion for Saturday. And Crossroads is continuing its current sermon series called Financial Fitness. And this past Sunday, the message is on spending plan. The primary verse came from Matthew chapter 6, verses 25 through 34, where Jesus is telling people not to worry about what you'll wear, what you'll eat, what you drink, but to trust in Him. The most common verse from that passage is verse 33. It says, "Seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given unto you as well." Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5 says, "Plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty." So we're talking about a spending plan. Spending plan is another word for budget. They can be used intertwined, same meaning. It just often gives different connotations or a different mindset. Budget, people often think, oh, you're restricted, and almost have a negative connotation with budget. Or spending plan, it gives you a whole new outlook on planning where your money goes, because it frees you up in a sense. Now you have freedom to spend, and when you're spending, you're not thinking, ooh, am I gonna have enough money for this, or worried about is it too expensive? Because you already had a plan of what you're going to spend, and that frees you up then when you are spending money. To encourage people, you want a zero-based spending plan. That means every dollar that you get with your income has an assignment. You give it a plan where it's going. And that's so important because we stick to this Proverbs, plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely haste leads to poverty. If you don't have a plan, you have no idea where you're going with your money, you're gonna lead to poverty. But you want profit. And something that's so simple that we all understand, but we often just don't do, especially in Americans' culture, is spend less than you make, and you'll have profit. It's as simple and easy to understand as that. It's just often really hard to do when we live in a culture so immersed with debt and mortgages and credit cards and car loans that people spend more than they make. If you want profit, you live on less than you make, and that's why it's so important to have a zero-based budget or zero-based spending plan. Two things to take away from this passage in this devotion is we need to plan with a purpose. We need to be good stewards of what God has entrusted us with. It says again in verse 33, it said, "Seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given unto you as well." That means our first and number one priority should be giving to the Lord. Giving, it's God's money to begin with. It's not giving back to the Lord. It's just giving because it's all His to begin with. So if someone looked at your bank account or your bank statement or your zero-based budget or spending plan, would they know you're a Christian? Would they say, this person prioritizes the Lord and things of God? Or would they say, oh, this person looks like they really like cars, or this person really looks like they like food or eating out or going on vacation? What would your bank account look like? Would it look like that this person seeks first God's kingdom? The second is to not worry. God encourages us in this passage not to worry, but to have a plan. And what happens when you have a plan, you're doing all you can do. You're controlling the controllables. We understand that God's ultimately in control and all sovereign, but He also gives us free will, and we need to do our part, to do our best to our ability to steward what He entrusts with us. A thing that you may have heard, kind of a farming analogy, you should work like it all depends on you, but pray like it all depends on God. If you pray that God will bless your crops, but you never did the work in the soil and planting the seed, it doesn't matter how much it rains, no crop will grow. So you got to do your part and then leave it up to God to bring that water and that rain to then bless the efforts of your work. So I hope this devotion was an encouragement to you. If you don't have a spending plan, I'd really encourage you to make one today. Today's the day that you take control of your money and be intentional about being a good steward of what God's entrusted you with. God bless and have a great weekend.